From the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know at the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution, I'm Joel Norwood. The International Longshoremen's Association and the U.S. Maritime Alliance have released a joint statement saying that, at least temporarily, their work stoppage that shut down the East and Gulf Coast ports earlier this week is over. U.S. Meat Export Federation President and CEO Dan Halstrom says the end of the strike. Terrific news from those in agriculture looking on.
I think the importance of this is that, we have a reputation globally as being a very reliable supplier to our customers all over the world. So in that regard, getting people back to work at these ports and getting cargo moving again is essential, and being able to continue to supply our customers, especially for some of our smaller exporters, our smaller members. It's a difficult situation for everyone involved, but especially for some of the smaller companies. So I think in this regard, getting business back on track is this is really good news as we go forward.
U.S. livestock producers and exporters ship more than $100 million of U.S. pork and beef through those ports each week. Elsewhere, wheat production at its highest level in 8 years, as USDA tells us wheat production for the 24-25 marketing year in the United States estimated at 1.971 billion bushels. That's up 9% year to year. It does come during a long-term downward trend in U.S. wheat production. With that said, for the last 2 seasons, wheat acreage, as measured by area harvested, has risen. And speaking of things on the rise, the U.S. Drought Monitor says the latest report, the 1st of October, has a more balancing yet increasing reflection of U.S. drought coverage. And as our friends in Southeast Ohio know all too well, exceptional drought persists in certain areas. USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey.
As we look at some of our individual areas of significant drought at this point, I would describe it as 3 main pockets of significant drought. One still persists in parts of the eastern Corn Belt, Ohio Valley, Central Appalachians. And although that area did get some significant rain from the remnants of Helene, it was nothing like what we saw further south in the southern Appalachians. We still have a pocket of drought that is extending across West Virginia and Ohio is kind of the core of that drought area. There is a second drought area that's focused across the southern Great Plains, and then a third area that is more across the northern Rockies and northern High Plains. So if you put those 3 areas together, we have 11 states where we see our 2 highest drought categories, D3 to D4, or extreme to exceptional drought.
So what percentage of corn and soybean producing areas are under that pressure?
As of October 1st, we have more than 1/4 of our U.S. corn and soybean production areas in drought, 27% for corn, 26% for soybeans. Those numbers are up considerably from the beginning of the month when corn was 13% in drought, soybeans 19%, and even more impressively up from the late summer peak of 4% in drought that occurred near the end of July. We got most of that Midwestern crop season through without huge impacts, hence still looking at those record yield expectations for both corn and soybeans.
And that fact not helping markets at all, as going into the weekend, and we'll talk about this more in depth in just a bit, corn futures falling as well as soybeans down after bulls gained ground in the first half of the week. And another piece of the market experiencing quite a bit of volatility right now is that of the dairy market. Corey Geiger is lead dairy economist with CoBank.
A lot of dynamics moving around the market right now. Demand started picking up internationally. Supplies got tight, and now domestic demand has been pretty strong too. So as all that's taken place and milk production's not been growing either here in the world's second largest dairy export market, the 27 countries, the EU, so prices have been steadily moving up.
Those comments come from the World Dairy Expo, which is wrapping up this week in Madison, Wisconsin. Stay tuned. Markets next.
Did you know soybeans' #1 customer is animal agriculture? That includes Ohio's beef farms. Research from the Soy Checkoff found that U.S. beef operations use over 1.3 million tons of soybean meal every year. That's the meal from about 55 million bushels of U.S. soybeans. Essential protein, energy, and amino acids. High-quality feed for heart-healthy beef. Soybeans, feeding the industry that feeds us. Brought to you by Ohio's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Hi everyone, this is Dale Minio from the Ohio AgNet. For a quarter of a century, I powered my truck with biodiesel, traveling the state promoting agriculture. Biodiesel is a reliable, high-performance fuel that works in any diesel engine without modification. The best part is that with every mile driven, I'm fueling the economy, doing good for the environment, and supporting soybean farmers. Learn how using biodiesel can add value to every bushel of soybeans grown at soyohio.org.
Taking a look at closing market numbers as they round out the week. Unfortunately, a down day across the board for grain. New crop corn off 3.5 cents today to 4.24 3/4. March corn checking in at 4.41 3/4 cents, down 4.25 from Chicago. New crop soybeans down 8.25 to 10.37 3/4. Jan beans 10.56, down 8.5, and wheat for next July, 12.5 cents down to 6.32 3/4 per bushel. This check of markets thanks to Seed Consultants, simply better performance. Online at seedconsultants.com. Cattle up, but hogs down. October live cattle $1 higher to 187 even. November feeder cattle gained $1.15 today to 249.28. October lean hogs down 15 cents to 84.03, and milk dropping about 40 cents today. This is the Ohio Ag Net.